Remnants of Kaliningrad's distant past can be found throughout the region, including castle ruins just ripe for exploring.
One thing about all these old forts is that they've got some fantastic hiding places. So I'm just going to nip in here and see what I can find. If there is anything hidden in this place, I reckon it's got to be down here. It's really chilly. I wonder what they used to keep. Beer, food, the odd unfortunate prisoner.
It was cold, dark and dank, and as I looked around, it was easy to imagine that, at least down here, nothing had changed for hundreds of years.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 14th century. This is Georgenberg Castle, the mightiest fortress in the land and home of the Teutonic Knights, masters of East Prussia.
By the early 1300s, the Teutonic Knights had conquered all of East Prussia and converted the old Prussian inhabitants to Christianity. They built castles around the area, including the original Königsberg Castle and Georgenberg. But they were constantly defending their lands against attacks by the neighboring Lithuanians. And every good knight needs a trusty steed.
And these are some of the descendants of the knight's old horses. Hello. Hello. Hello, baby. Oh, it's very friendly.
There have been stables on this territory for more than 6 centuries, and generations of military and racing horses have been bred here. The most popular horse is the Trakehner, an old Prussian breed that's been crossed with thoroughbreds over the years to produce an animal highly valued for its strength and speed. And they're a curious lot, too.
And there we go. Nice. That's it. Just a snack for you today, I'm afraid. To wait for the kids to come in, give you some more. I love the fact that they're so friendly. Even the babies will come close to you. That's it, Mum, I'm afraid.
The foals here are only a couple of months old and will stay with their mothers until they're strong enough to graze on their own. You can tell that they're a big and hardy group of horses here, but quite frankly, they're a little spoilt, because everybody also gets their very own wash and tanning session. And once I'd taken a little instruction from Nina, it was time to give King Live here a good scrub.
Glamorous life I lead, eh? Oh, yes. There's a dirty, dirty boy. Dirty boy. Get you nice and clean. Go out and impress all the mares, won't you? Nod your head if you like it. Yeah, that's right. We like it very much.
But it's not a task without obstacles.
This is the problem. When you've got a 400-kilogram horse and it decides to stand on your hose, it makes bath time a little bit difficult.
And it seems the wash and rub down is only the half of it.
I don't know about you, but I've never seen anything like this before in my life. Because once the king here has been nicely cleaned, he gets a session in the tanning booth. What do we want? A nice shade of orange we're going to go? So he gets 20 minutes, which should certainly make him ready for the beach, I would think. He's already got the muscles. I'm just going to get the Miami tan, eh?
It may seem a little excessive, but when you consider that the horses here can sell for up to 60,000 euros, a little pampering is a sound investment. Of course, they also need to be fit and strong, so I headed out with Nina for the most important part of their day, exercise time.
So I get to just sit back now and watch them go. A couple of very worthy heirs to their warrior ancestors.
With my stable boy duties done, I was free to head back into Kaliningrad. For a time during the Second World War, the city was home to the legendary Amber Room, which disappeared without trace at the end of the fighting. It's never been found, but a local museum has made their own small tribute. It contains pieces from all over the world, supposedly gathered by a local naturalist.
All these items were brought from Scandinavia because amber is found there. This one was found on the island of Haiti. Incidentally, it was in Haiti that Columbus saw amber for the first time in his life. One variety of amber is blue in color because there's cobalt in it.
In fact, it seems wherever the naturalist went, he found more and more treasures.
You can also find amber in Australia. This boomerang is from there. The amber arrows come from Africa. The castanets are from Spain. This is a collection of seashells. It was put together by our naturalist while he was on his voyages. So amber can also be found in the ocean.
A tall tale, perhaps, but it does get you thinking.
Well, if he had been real, our naturalist would have had a pretty amazing life. Imagine that. Sailing the seas, searching for all those different types of amber. I wonder what that would have been like. Well, would you believe it? One thing about Kaliningrad is it's got more inland waterways than any other country in Europe. And I have joined the crew here on the Fira for a little voyage of discovery.
Kaliningrad lies on the mouth of the Prigolya River and has channels that pass through the heart of the city. Because of the warm waters, the yachting season here is the longest in the country, lasting up to 7 months. Captain Alexander says it's now a far more inclusive sport.
Nowadays, a medium-class yacht costs about as much as a decent foreign-made car. When the word yacht crops up, for some reason or other, Roman Abramovich with his 50-meter yacht and scantily clad girls spring to mind. But it's a myth that only oligarchs can buy a yacht. Today's middle class can easily afford one.
But if you want to sail through the center of the city, you need a little preparation.
Give it some slack, James. A little more.
We're just coming up to the old German bridge here, where the cars drive along the bottom level and trains go along the top. But because it's so low, we've had to take down all the masts, so fingers crossed. Oh. Yeah, fortunately we're not bumping our heads.
Kaliningrad is still a busy port, and the harbours are full of tankers and scientific vessels.
Now over there you can see Kaliningrad's most famous ship, the Keldysh. It's home to the Mir submersibles, and it's the ship that James Cameron took out to use for his explorations down to the wreck of Titanic.
We couldn't have asked for better conditions, and I was more than happy to relax and enjoy the ride.
It's a tough job. Someone's got to do it.
But you should never speak too soon, because our flattened mast needed to go right back up.
Not an easy exercise, this one. Past the horizontal, I think she'll be okay. There she's up.
I'd explored the centre and the wide open waterways, and now, like our fabled museum naturalist, it was time for me to go hunting.
So we finally pulled into the harbour, and Captain Alexander tells me that one of the biggest amber deposits in the region should be right over there.
And after a short trek, a glimpse at a local sign told me I'd come to the right place.
The Kaliningrad region is home to the largest amber deposits on the planet. In fact, it's so important around here, they named a town after it.
The word yantar in Russian means amber, and here in Yantarny, the precious resin is literally just below the surface.
So this is where it all comes from, the largest open-cast amber pit in the world. They've been mining here industrially for over a century and a half, and they're still pulling out hundreds of tons every year. Sounds like a good place to do a little prospecting, doesn't it?
I headed down towards the quarry and onto the sandbanks. It's said that amber washes up along the beach here all the time, so I hoped I wouldn't have to do too much digging.
Just a second. Yes. Well, they weren't kidding, were they? The soil really is full of it. A proper little amber treasure chest, just lurking in the sand.
But finding the raw materials is just the start. Yantarny also has a thriving jewellery and souvenir business, and everything is crafted by hand.
And after a lot of hard work, this is where all the pieces of amber finally end up. So if you like, you can take home something rather modest, or if you do happen to be a passing oligarch with 10,000 euros or so in your pocket, there's one or two pieces that are a bit more grand. Well, I can dream, can't I?
I'd found my amber mementos and had a chance to experience hundreds of years of history that have shaped the Kaliningrad region. But before my time here came to an end, I had a chance to reach the end of Russia itself.
This is quite a special moment for me. My very first discovering Russia started in Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, the easternmost city of Russia. And now I'm in Baltiysk, looking into the Baltic Sea in the westernmost point of the whole country. And it's been a pretty incredible journey in between.